What is going on, folks? We are here at R&W Transmission, where we are going to be getting our transmission put in today. We're getting a Stage 2 48 RE transmission put in here. It's going to be good for like 650 to 700 horsepower. Hopefully, after the braking period, we can do some nasty burnouts for you guys. So we're going to get that installed today. We're going to have them talk about what is in the transmission, what the transmissions are capable of, the couple different types of transmission options they do have, because we will be selling these transmissions off our website. We are going to be basically, you guys are going to ship the core to me, and I'm going to bring them over here, and they're going to build them for you, and I'm going to ship them out. And that way you guys can get built transmissions at an affordable price for your Dodge Ram 2500 or 3500 or even a 1500 diesel swap. So yeah, feel free to check out the website. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe down below, and I hope you enjoy what we come up with today. What's going on, guys? So we got the truck pulled in. These gentlemen are working on it currently. They're getting some stuff pulled off, like the drive shaft dropped and everything, so we can get the new transmission put in. But they're currently working on that, and while they do that, in between here, we're gonna have the owner of RW Transmissions explain what he puts into the transmissions, the different stages of transmissions he does offer, and then what kind of life expectancy and stuff like that you can expect for these transmissions to handle, take in, and braking procedure, and just kind of give you a breakdown of everything. Let you guys also know when you do go to the website and you order a transmission, what you're getting. And you can always refer to this video at any point in time for that and whatnot. So, but yeah, these gentlemen right here are just going to town and getting this transmission out of here so we can get the new one in. So, I hope you guys enjoy that. Comment, like, subscribe down below, and enjoy. Alright, so far these gentlemen have the drive shafts off, or one of the drive shafts off. He's working on getting the other drive shaft off currently. And then they have the transmission support mount is out, and the transmission mounting block is out as well. There's my awesome two-piece drive shaft that's gonna have to get changed at one piece eventually. And then they're gonna get ready to drop this transmission. They just undid the flywheel bolts as well, are out. So there's a few things left to disconnect before we can get the new trans, or the old trans pulled down, and the new trans started to come up. There it goes, and that would be the other drive shaft out. So then we're gonna have to separate the transfer case from the transmission so we can put the transfer case on the new transmission and go from there.
Come down.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. That's like perfect color.
Yeah, nice view.
Smells like burnt toast. Yeah, so your transmission fluid, guys, is not supposed to be brown. Just so you're aware. That is not the color you want at all.
I told you. Everybody makes a mess.
No, that's all right. Oh yeah, that looks super minty. Oh yeah, look at that discolor.
Oh, I told you.
Oh, it's hot. It's still hot. That'll burn you. Just so you're aware, this is how bad this transmission is. This is hot to the touch. This converter is for a ride.
There you go.
What's the temperature of that thing?
160 degrees pretty much.
Woo! It's not been driven for an hour and a half. This truck has not been driven for an hour and a fucking half. Oh my god. Good lord.
She's a hot one.
Yes, she is. Okay. What's the transmission at? 122? That's still cooking. That's warm. 26. And it's been since 9. Or no, I got here at 8:40, 8:50, something like that. Good God. You guys are pretty awesome. So they're doing a flush for my cooler while doing this transmission. And that's a pretty nasty leak right there out of one of my lines. So we're gonna have to replace that whole line for this truck before we put the trans in. These guys are awesome. They know what they're doing. And I'm excited to see what happens when they get it all done and how she performs. But yeah, let's, we gotta get that fixed. Pronto. Alright guys, so they got the transmission in there. It's not bolted in yet, but they're working on it right now. We're gonna get ready to go over the build list on the stage 1 through 4 for the transmissions that they do. All the parts are made here in Michigan, or most of them. The guy that makes the converters is local. The guy that actually sells, like, he makes the Firepunk deep pans and some of the stuff that Firepunk uses in their transmissions. He actually makes that here and sends it to Firepunk for them to use. Some of the stuff that is in these transmissions is used by Muldoon's, Firepunk, Redmax. The guy that makes those parts for those companies actually made the parts for this transmission shop. So you are going to get a top quality part in your transmission that is used by these bigger companies from the transmission shop here in Michigan. So that is a plus side. Plus the guys here are great. They really know what they're doing. They got to go ahead and fix one of my leaky lines still, I think. But other than that, it's coming together pretty good. I'm excited to see how this thing runs. Torque converter was insanely hot. That's not okay. So actually 156 degrees about 2 hours after not being driven anymore, and it was parked. And it's all discolored and everything, so the converter was just completely toast. I'm actually surprised it made it here, let's be honest. But it did. She made it, so that's where we're at with that. We'll get some stuff done, and then we'll hopefully do some stuff on the way home, and we'll see what happens. All right, stay tuned. This is Connor from R&W Transmission, guys. He's going to give us a rundown on what's the stage 2, 3, and 4 transmission that they offer. The parts that are in it kind of give you an idea. The horsepower ratings that they're capable of. They're a Dodge and 48 RE. They're 68 REs, pretty much very similar. Obviously, it's a little bit different transmission, but you have similar detail of parts. And we're going to kind of go from there. So, Connor, take it away. What's in your stage 2 transmission that you can expect to bring up?
Well, you start out stage 2 is kind of just like the staple. You know, that's kind of just the step up from stage 1, obviously. You know, it's not all performance wise, but you know, it is good for around 600 horse. You get the master kit with the board Warner clutches, heavy duty flex plates with bushing kit, both sprags, the Transgo Pro kit, high pressure belt body kit, the Mopar locked up overdrive solenoids. You know, it gets all the solenoids. The board pressure switch, the Mopar transducer, which is all your sensors and whatnot, and the economy input shaft, which is, it's like, it's not the billet input shaft, but it's like our next step from, you know, that billet shaft in the stage 2, which, you know, most of our parts are made in Michigan. You know, even from, you know, like the high performing diesel, big name companies, you know, most of the parts that we get are, you know,
Through their same suppliers.
pretty much, yeah. And then you get the custom servos, the accumulators, like if I didn't already mention, the heavy duty struts, obviously you get your filters, your overdrive snap rings, your direct snap rings, and then obviously your billet regulators. Yeah, that kind of rounds out Hot 2 or the stage 2. So it's definitely something more for like a towing package, or you know, if you got like a mild build truck, you know, that's what I recommend.
So if somebody's just a little bit overstocked, if like if they're just the everyday driving it, they've got maybe a second gen manifold swap,
Right.
they're like an S366 turbo, smaller injectors, they're pushing like 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
Got a nice fancy tune in there, but still not breaking the bank to get their transmission, and they're not getting full blown.
Right, yeah, and
Money can hold up out.
you know, that stage 2, at the end of the day, if you just came in and bought transmission from either him or me, you know, if you just had your core and you did swap out, that is a $3,000 out the door. And then that comes with your bill of tools inverter. So you got your inverter, its trans for $3,000 out the door. The stage 3, that is more rated for like 850 horsepower. So, you know, decent power, but you know, still where you start getting like the cummins got compounds now.
Yeah.
They're starting to really push that horsepower number, probably 100% over injectors.
Right, yeah.
And they really need something to hold up that power. Probably also fixing out that 1-2 drive after that point.
Yeah.
And you really kind of starting to step up there and then get that power bank level to really increase from what you're doing. Have more of like a daily driver, more like a weekend warrior, street truck kind of deal.
Yeah.
Kind of give us a little bit of a breakdown of what can that go.
Which basically the stage 3 is the stage 2, but it does have updated parts. Like you're gonna get triple disc converter, better than dual disc. You know, just the different clutch plate. And then you get the Stonex input jab with the billet piston. So that's gonna be your billet input.
Right.
Your rigid fan, which it's kind of just like a heavy duty or like clutch fan.
Right.
In there that rides on that drum, and then the 4-2 apply lever, the deep fan, and then your billet intermediate shaft, and those are probably the must when doing the stage 3. But everything from stage 2 goes into stage 3 as well, just with these upgrades, and that would be around the 5,000 mark. 45 to 5,000, I want to say. If you just brought your core, when we did a core swap out, that is essentially what it'd be of everything. And then, your stage 4 is kind of where you start getting into the, more performance, like real performance wise. That can be rated for 9,000 plus, 9,900 plus, that'd be a lot, but no, that gets the custom roller planetary gear set, which there's a lot of machining that goes into doing that.
Right.
Even though they sell parts online, we've had to have them machined by our guys, locally, just because they can't get the machine 100% correct for what transmission it is.
Kind of getting a one-off part at that point. Every part that is made for this transmission is kind of really taken through and looking at meticulously and really fine-tuned specifically for the transmission every single time. There's somebody getting hands-on. You're not just buying it, putting it in. You actually have to get hands-on to get a little extra grace.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get there's the big billet output shaft with the T-case input. So, for which that kind of means the billet output shaft is a bigger spline, a bigger shaft. So you kind of have to update the T-case input because it's a bigger shaft. It wouldn't fit, with your normal T-case. You have to change that input there. And then you get the custom fat stator, which has to do with the pump area. And then obviously that custom Breedis converter, which at that point,
Take your stall rating and kind of figure out what you're doing with it. If you're off the street kind of every other day with it racing it, or if you're going to sprint and doing no prep, or if you're prep racing, depending on what you're going with that.
A lot of your money in the stage 4 is really just your I want to say the labor into putting it in.
Because you got to split the transportation. Now you're talking about taking the transportation that is taking it off the transmission, you're splitting it open, changing out.
Yeah.
Gearing in there.
You're doing a little bit more than normal. And, you gotta machine certain parts, so it can be a pain sometimes, but, obviously that stage 4, it does get everything that is in the stage 2 and 3 with the upgraded stage 4 parts. That, your bench, a standard bench unit cost would probably be 6,500 to 7. And that's probably gonna be one of your maxes. Obviously, we do offer, if you want, like, for Mac, for, a lot more horsepower. I know there's other pits out there and whatnot that, can, make 48 handle a lot more.
Right. But if you're going past 900, that's like a custom. I need to call you and let you know what my motor's got. Like, if you guys need more than, say, your stage 4, because you're going to be at the track every weekend with it, you're going to be busting it out.
Right.
Give us a call and we'll get you something set up so you can have that, 1,500 horsepower mark transmission.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's going to be full-blown custom. So we're looking at 10 to 12K at that point.
Yeah, that's something it's not something to take lightly. I kind of just, plan ahead and, definitely give me a call, see where we're at, and, we can definitely get one built. So,
Stage 4 is not the end of it. It's just what we kind of are offering, because past that, you definitely got to call, for the most part, because at that point, everything very custom and all, like, hands-on.
versus stage 4. Like there's obviously that hands-on effect that you get, but it's not as much as it would be like a full-blown 13, 14, 1500 horsepower transmission.
Right. So I want to say, you know, a lot of the diesel guys or the Dodge guys, I want to say, it's not all about 48 to 47. We actually offer a lot more to do with like the 68 RFEs as well. I know you said a lot of your guys don't really have the 68, but it is still a really big market. You know,
absolutely.
I get a lot of guys that love those newer gen stuff, but with the 68 RFEs, then we have essentially the same amount of stages, but stage 2 is kind of just your standard tow pro kit.
It's pretty much the same thing as what we kind of explained. Obviously, the parts are a little bit different. They're still made in Michigan parts though, so you got American-made parts going to your transmission, built by people of America. It's kind of a highlight of what I thought you might be about being a veteran and whatnot. You get that very good effect of American parts, American-made,
Right.
And the 68s. Like you said, they do a lot with the 68s, but it's perfect for like somebody who's got an everyday driver, has a 410, they drive every day, but they need a little something extra for, maybe they got a nice little 800, 900 horsepower 410 and they don't want to keep the 68 so they can keep they don't have to do too much changing with the ECU by the time you swap to 48 or you do have to do the same one ECU for that transmission now.
Yeah.
Then I gotta get custom trans too, you gotta do this list to a full man valve body. And that just adds a whole other
that's where it kind of gets difficult with when you're doing the stage 3 and 4 68 RFEs, just because there's a lot of tuning that has to be done to them. Not a lot, but you got to make sure that you have the right line pressure set.
Right.
Because I've had a lot of guys purchase the bench unit, they don't know what they're doing tuning wise, and they go ahead and burn up the unit because they don't have their direct line pressures input, and they can burn up the unit. I want to say with the 60. Oh yeah, we just not too long ago. I want to say a couple weeks ago, we had a guy who just purchased a stage 4 68. And this truck was pretty badass. I know he was pushing a lot of horsepower. Right. And I haven't heard much from him. He said it was straight. Normally, obviously every transmission builder is gonna have, a pickup, and if they say they're perfect, they're lying.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody's perfect. You're gonna have a little bit of human error sometimes.
Right.
Expect that. Don't be, oh, this transmission's junk. Cause okay, stuff happens. Bring it in. We'll take care of it. We'll get you taken care of.
Especially when you're dealing with, dealing with the motors. I've heard a lot of people say transmissions are a different animal than building a motor because there's a lot more, and not too many people know a lot about.
A lot of people know that that does commands.
Yeah.
Every if you're really bullying on a 48 RE, you gotta adjust your band for constantly and they make sure everything's still doing its thing. And
right.
You just be like, oh, it's gotta be good for 150K. No, you gotta take care of that thing. Your transmission is also good.
A lot of people don't really, service their transmissions either. They kind of just throw it under the rug, but that's definitely something that you gotta keep up on.
Yeah. Because like I said, you gotta do that filter fluid on your transmission every 30, 40K. If you're beating on it, I do mine every 20 because I beat on mine.
Yeah.
I do mine early. Sometimes I even do it sooner than that if I know I'm going to be going to a show and I'm doing a ton of burnouts or I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to swap it out. I'm going to flush it and I'm going to make sure it's fresh fluid because I'm going to get that through hot. I'm going to get that converter high. And I'm just going to try to drop the transmission on the ground at that point. So I'm going to keep it cleaned up and I'm going to keep it ready to go.
Right.
So that's something you guys got to really pay attention to. When you do get a 68 RE or even a 48 RE, let your tuner know if you're not doing your own tuning. Definitely like what is in there. We will include a build sheet obviously on the website. You guys will be able to see that build sheet with each individual transmission and let your tuner know what's in there.
Yeah.
And just be 100% honest and don't just be like, oh, I got some stage 2 transmission. I don't really know what to know. You got to let them know or her, I guess. Let them know
I've had
what's in there. That way you guys are not blowing your transmission.
Yeah, I've had a guy. He brought in a transmission. He only bought a stage 2, which, like I said, is really just for tuning wise. He comes in, brings us forward. His input shaft is snapped completely off. I'm like, dude, you got to be pushing a lot more horsepower to break a fucking input shaft. Oh, right. But other than that, another big thing I wanted to mention. A lot of people don't really take it as seriously is your transmission lines and cooler. If they're not properly blown out, or they're leaking, or if they're clogged, you're gonna have transmission issues, gonna overheat, and in the end burn up. And it might sound stupid, but I've had a lot of guys not even touch it, and they're shooting all that debris back in the thing.
That's a big thing, guys. Like right now, they got mine hooked up to this hot flush for the transmission cooler. But I recommend if you guys are mailing a transmission in, and we're building you one and we're mailing it out to you, just switch it out to a bigger intercooler or transmission cooler from each motor or an off-brand.
Right.
Outside of that, just go ahead and take it to the shop and get it cleaned out if you're having a shop
Yeah.
install the transmission. If you're definitely get those blown out.
Yeah, it's kind of at that point, if you're at the stage 3, stage 4 range, you're already spending the money for the transmission. Why not
get to there?
Right, and it's going to make it work a whole lot better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for like the gen, I know for the 3rd gen Dodges, they're going to be sort of you're like 250% larger.
Yeah.
Already, so you're going to keep those trans temps down. I mean, 2 hours after I was done driving, my converter was still 156 degrees, which I showed you guys that, just earlier in the video. And, I mean, that's hot.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to keep your transmission as cool as possible. You don't really want to go to about 215.
Exactly.
You want to keep it underneath that. Now, if you're doing consistent pulls with a track back to back to back, 230 is not a bad number to see, or even 240. I would be pretty lenient on, I would try to get it cooled down. When you start getting 230, 235, 240, definitely let it sit for a little bit, cool down.
Yeah.
Or just idle and cycle that fluid through there and then get it cooled off.
Yeah, that's probably the max I want to go as well. Probably that 230, 240 range. Cause if you go any more than that, then you're kind of, I don't know, you might run into a little bit of trouble. I don't really have too much experience, but just even daily driving, having experiences with that, definitely keep it in that range, and you'll be.
Yeah. If you guys don't have a transmission temperature gauge, I know I don't. I'm a culprit of this. I gotta get one ASAP. Definitely get a transmission gauge in your Dodge.
Yeah.
Specifically Dodge. I mean, you can do it in your other trucks too, but not really. Ford and Duramax are gonna have a heating issue with their transmission as much as Dodges are. Definitely get a transmission in your truck, especially if you're gonna be towing a lot. Like if you're gonna be doing, 15,000 pound load all the time, or crazy heavy loads all the time, definitely get one because you're gonna want to maintain a low temp and you're gonna want to stop. It's cool. It is getting hot. And if it does start to get hot, you're probably looking at needing a new transmission or even a converter. Because your converter probably get that worn out at that point. Why it gets so hot and not just dippy.
Right. Yes.
That's the big thing.
I want to say another thing. I know we didn't mention to you, a lot about, Dodge and their diesel transmissions, but I mean, if you have, the older, like Ford diesel transmissions, I know he specializes in a lot of those, like the 5R110.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Okay, so like if you got a 97.3 or even like a 47 RH or 47 RE, like we're not limited to thirds, like 48 REs and 68 REs. We could do, your older 7.3 transmissions, your newer power stroke transmissions, your 04 to 011 transmission or whatever I think it is.
Yeah.
Right, 6.0 to 6.4 shares of your transmission.
Yeah, those, the newer ones, I want to say, the 6-speed, which is kind of be comparable to the 68, and that the 6-speed as well. The 6R140, but that's pretty stout transmission, I don't. I know he's done, a decent amount of this one slides. To be honest with you, pretty stout transmission. There's not a whole lot of upgrades, but, there are, if you're pushing a lot of that power. And even Duramax wise, like we just did, like the stage 3 last week, those Allison wise. And, like I said, those transmissions are pretty stout. And you don't need a whole lot. I mean, you get the billet and shaft deep in, the high line kit. Better clutches and everything. But
that's kind of the one thing that Dodge kind of fell behind on is like Ford and Duramax really came out with a transmission that was already pretty stout, so there's a lot less that's going to it.
Yeah.
Versus Dodge, the 48, once they're built, they're pretty much indestructible.
Right.
But you have to build this, and now you're out, however much it costs for you to get a built transmission.
Well, another big reason why those 68s fail a lot, which a lot of guys really don't know this. They originate from like the old 62 PEs and the 604s, which is like a caravan transmission, and it had the same overdrive drum design and case wise. I mean, yeah, they're different at the front wheel drive compared to a truck, but they have a lot of flaws, and that's why it does take a lot more than 68 to build up because from factory they're just not the best. The design. I have heard, stock guys, say that they last a while, but if you put power to them, it's definitely something you're gonna have to build.
But say you're saying stock, like yeah, you might last a while, but as soon as you start to do that, that manifold swap, or you do a bigger injector in the tune and roll air intake, you
Right.
eat it new. I mean, you're looking at already needing to do a transmission, especially in a 68, even a 48. If you just do a tune and intake and maybe a bigger turbo or a flip flop, you're already looking at being a transition to that too. Stock for stock,
Right.
are a good decent, but as soon as you start to do a little bit, they don't handle anything past that. So that's definitely something you need to do right off the rip. They just start looking to get transmission. But again, 48s and 68s, they're great once they're built. I mean, once you get them built, they'll last you,
Yeah.
200,000 miles. The problem now you take care of them. If
Yeah.
you're daily driving it, of course, 200K. Now if you're
Right.
racing it, that's a different story. And you're beating on it. You're like, oh man, you said the last 200,000 miles. I only got 50 out of it. Well, were you good burnouts every weekend? Or, it depends on your drive style, obviously. Like, this truck, they're with this transmission here, I don't see why it's not going to last me until 150, 100 to 150K.
Yeah,
Like,
no, or even more, man. Yeah. I mean, it's really just how you treat it, I mean, if you have, a stage 4 built and you're putting it to the test and whatnot, that's a different story. But, a stage 2 or stage 3, if you're really daily driving it, it really just depends on how you're treating it as well. And
Taking care of maintenance is the big key, guys. Again, I can't not say maintenance enough. Like maintenance. You want something to last, you gotta take care of it. Otherwise, you're gonna end up being out more money and replace the whole unit versus just taking it to the shop and hey, I need a transmission fluid flush and let them do that for $400 or $500 where you're at, or either maybe $700,
right.
and then let them do that. Wow. You want to keep fresh fluid in there. It's just like an oil change. You can't just fill it without an oil change.
Right. Yeah. No. It's definitely something that people they get lazy on or they don't really care about, but it's something not to take lightly for sure because it is a big part of your vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I want to say it's we mainly specialize in obviously really any transmission needs. I mean, even if you have a transmission, like even like the newest 10 speeds, a lot of the guys around here, they won't even touch the 10 speeds because they're so new. So that's another thing, it's not just the diesel transmissions that we're really big on. It's really any transmission.
Any transmission.
Yeah.
So, alright guys, well this is Dennis Connor with R&W Transmission. Feel free, if you do see my truck around, feel free to give them a call, or we will have the Dodge be a dealer for them on the website. We're going to be selling a lot of Dodge transmissions.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll get some to Duramax and some of the Power Stroke stuff up
Yeah,
there,
for
but right
sure.
now we're just going to kind of start small and work our way up.
Yeah.
Kind of get things figured out a little bit too along the way. Not everything happens overnight, right guys? So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, feel free, give them a call. If you do see our website, you want me to handle your transmission build, we'll get that mailed in, or if you want to ship it up here and you're out of state, ship it up here and I'll bring it over here, not that far of a drive, and I'll drop it off. We'll get a core built and we'll get that shipped out for you right off the rip. Expect time for build time. Gonna have some lead time with that. Build it, gotta get parts ordered and stuff like that. It's not gonna be an overnight ship.
Yeah.
Because we are building the transmission.
Yeah. Which I will say with as long as we know the correct gear, it's something that we could even, build ahead of time and then just do a core swap out, but, if you are out of state, it is probably better just to send your core up and we build it. Even if you have to do that, time frame isn't really that. I want to say up to a week. You're probably waiting, and that's like excluding the weekends or ship time.
Right. And if you have to ship stuff out, that's about a week right there alone. So, don't be upset if I have some guys that are upset, about this. Is like, oh, hey, I gotta make this part one off for your transmission. Or we're gonna check on your case and there's a crack. Hey, your case is cracked. You can't use this anymore. It's not gonna work. Or,
that's the only down.
Yeah, but do expect, don't always expect it. It's not gonna happen every time. But if we have to call you, hey man, this is going on, it's just how it is sometimes. Not everything's perfect. So,
Yeah, right.
But they're good guys. I really do appreciate the guys. The guys who work on my truck, they're great dudes. They know their shit. And I'm pretty excited to get this thing on the road and drive it and see how it does.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. Well, thanks for having me and filling our shop.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, go on.
Thanks.
Alright guys, so we're gonna see what was in the transmission. This is why it's important to do a flush, see what's in those lines, because you don't want to spit that debris back out into your transmission at all, because then you're just going to re-grenade your brand new transmission. And we don't want that, so.
I don't think this one had much though.
He would say recommend switching to AN fittings, and also recommend that if you're not gonna have a shop flush it, you just want to go ahead and get a
big
new
old
one.
chunk to come out though.
Yeah, that's a big chunk right there.
That right there will screw you.
Yep, and then see all those metal shavings in there? She was pretty dirty. That'll just definitely destroy a transmission.
Now I have seen them where this whole thing gets clogged
With
with
chunks of
these
junk.
big old chunks like that.
Oh man.
Like, I mean, 3 times have to
Yeah.
clean this filter because it clogged the machine.
That's just insane.
I mean,
You can see the shavings all through here too. It's pretty rough. All that grit. That's not very good. Also, you guys can tell the color of the fluid was not very bonita either. It was definitely mixed burnt. So yeah, that's why it's important to do that, because if you spit all that stuff out into the new bushings and the new bearings and the new clutches, you're just gonna destroy them. You're gonna make it, down the road, and you're gonna be like, why is my new transmission new? You guys are terrible, and it's really not our fault. You just gotta make sure you take care of your stuff and do that. Make sure you do the lines for sure.
hey man, I just had a brand new transmission installed and now it's, hanging on the gears or not wanting to shift. Well,
did it blow your
person
lines
that put
out?
it in didn't blow your lines out even, and you just pre-bombed your brand new transmission.
Yep. So, or like he said, if you're not gonna have them flush it, or you're doing it yourself, like you just bought a transmission core
Replace
and
it.
you're just replacing on your own, just replace it and then switch it out to AN fittings and lines. It makes it a little bit easier to do, and that way you basically you're upgrading your system even more. And keeping your transmission cooler, and you got more fluid in there, so you got more cycle time, and you're not going to spit any of that debris out if you do switch out.
The thing is though, you gotta replace your radiator too,
Yeah.
because it'll go through your radiator.
Yep, you will have to swap the radiator out.
But
That's correct.
I recommend bypassing it through the radiator and just having it go through it. Don't even run it through the radiator.
Right. So, yeah, that's what we recommend, boys and girls, and hope you enjoy everything that we've been doing here. We're going to get this finished up and buttoned up. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below. If you want to see any future content, don't forget to comment on something like some content that you might want to see in the future and whatnot. We're going to basically get this buttoned up in here. The last bit of the video is going to be we're going to drive the truck home. We do have a 2-hour journey home, so we're going to see how this transmission's doing and how it's shifted and whatnot, and let you guys know how everything is and whatnot. We do have a little bit of break-in period time, so we can't do anything crazy yet, so we're not going to be ripping on it and doing nasty stuff with it. So we might do a transmission review later, just depending on how it feels when we get on the road and whatnot. I don't want to give you guys a transmission review if I can't rip on it. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole point of putting this transmission here, is just to absolutely rip on this tranny. Because we're going to be ripping on this truck. So, alright guys, so yeah, like I said, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe down below. And don't forget to check out the website, and any merch on the website, if you do purchase it, goes directly back into the business for either more stuff like the truck like this that we're doing today, or getting brake kits out there for you guys for the 3rd gens and the 2nd gens, and then we're going to be working for our 1st gens and so on and so forth into the Fords and Chevys. So that's basically all the money is just going to go dumped back into that. So any merchandise purchase is strictly basically just supporting a small business and helping them grow. All right, y'all have a good one.